What did he do to make this house so evil?
Summer Moon Utah Wells was born on February 4th, 2016, to Candace Bly and Dawn Wells, and she would be the last child born into her family. She was often captured in bright clothing, smiling and dancing on the family property, located in rural Rogersville, Tennessee. Her parents described her as the boss of the family and as a little girl who loved nature and being social. On the evening of June 15th, 2021, 5-year-old Summer would go missing from her home on Ben Hill Road while under the supervision of her mother, Candace. Also on the property were her 3 older brothers and maternal grandmother. Candace contacted a dispatcher around 6:30 p.m., according to the Tennessean, and said she had been unable to locate her daughter anywhere on the property or within the home. According to Candace, she, Summer, and Grandma finished planting cactuses outside of Grandma's trailer, and Summer said she wanted to play inside the house. After washing her hands and accepting a peppermint from Grandma, she entered the house through the main door. At this time, Candace told the 3 older boys to keep an eye on Summer while she helped Grandma apply a knee brace. Upon entering the home, Candace was unable to locate Summer. The boys told her that Summer went to play in the basement, which has its own exit at the back side of the house. From what we understand, that door may have been left unlocked. Dawn expressed in an early interview that Summer's affinity for playing outside was, quote, her downfall, end quote, implying that Summer may have wandered out the door and off of the property. This statement would prompt much speculation, as many felt that the statement was peculiar and possibly an indication that the family may be holding on to guilty knowledge related to Summer's disappearance. Nonetheless, Dawn and Candace would face consistent scrutiny over the following years, due largely in part to their apparent concern for being judged, rather than concern for Summer's whereabouts. Ultimately, the couple would repeatedly suggest that Summer had been stolen from her home, despite a total lack of evidence to support this theory. The lack of compelling evidence, unverified timeline, and inconsistent retelling of events forged the breeding ground for rampant speculation and innumerable theories. The dense woodlands surrounding the property would lead investigators to limit the search party to specialized personnel only, as they felt that the land posed a significant risk to those without any wilderness search and tracking training. According to WKRN, Summer was last seen barefoot, wearing a pink t-shirt and gray shorts. How would a 5-year-old with no shoes navigate such dense and dangerous landscape? This question would lead some to surmise that Summer hadn't wandered off the property at all. The overall timeline begins around 8 to 9 a.m. with Summer, Candace, and Grandma departing for Kingsport, a 25-minute drive, so that Grandma can visit the hospital for a complaint of knee pain. Candace dropped Grandma off at the hospital, while Candace then invited Hunter to go to Warriors Path State Park for a swim. While Hunter asserts that Candace called him, Candace insists that Hunter called her. Meanwhile, Hunter's mom, Allie, told investigators that Candace showed up at her home unannounced between 10 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. Prior to leaving Hunter's house, Grandma called Candace stating that she had been treated and needed to drop off a prescription at Walgreens. They returned to the hospital to fetch Grandma, and the four accessed the Walgreens drive-thru to deliver the script. With 35 minutes to burn, the four would begin a series of multiple stops. According to Hunter, Candace received a call from Dawn while leaving Walgreens. Hunter would claim that Dawn spoke about a man lurking around the property, although Candace denies any talk of a stranger taking place, resulting in one of many inconsistencies. Candace made a pit stop at a smoke shop where she purchased a twisted tea. Once the group arrived at the lake, Hunter stated that Candace gave him the twisted tea. Candace denies giving Hunter the beverage because she claims it was meant for Grandma. With her swimsuit already on, Summer quickly began playing in the water. Grandma remained in the truck momentarily, adding minutes to her phone, while Candace helped Grandma out of the truck and then scrolled through TikTok with Hunter. Candace apparently filmed a video of Summer playing in the lake that she promptly uploaded to TikTok at 12:21 p.m. The group remained at the lake for about 20 minutes. The next stop on the agenda was the hippie house, where Summer and Hunter stayed in the truck while the adults went inside. From there, they returned to the pharmacy and then headed to Sonic to purchase slushies, and lastly, they visited a priceless grocery store to complete some shopping. A notable discrepancy here is that Candace claims the total grocery trip lasted about 5 minutes, while Hunter states that the trip took 60 minutes. Personally, I think the time spent in the store is somewhere between 5 and 60 minutes, considering Hunter is known to have ADHD, which can come with challenges like time blindness. And also, in my opinion, I believe Candace has a skewed perception of time. I've just observed in interviews, she tends to think everything takes about 5 minutes. On the way to Hunter's house, Summer fell asleep in the truck, an artifact that is corroborated by Hunter's mom, Allie. The three then headed home, where Candace woke Summer from her nap and enlisted the three boys to bring the groceries inside. Summer played with toys in the kitchen, where she was invited to help Grandma and Candace transplant cactuses. Candace would state that they spent 30 minutes planting the flowers before Summer grabbed a peppermint from Grandma's trailer. From there, she walked back to the house. Candace told the boys to keep an eye on her while she attended to Grandma and her knee brace. Candace claimed she returned to the house after 2 to 5 minutes to find Summer was nowhere in sight, but the boys said she went down to the basement. Candace looked around the basement for Summer but failed to locate her. She decided to check Summer's swing in case she was playing there, but she didn't find her. She then began calling out for Summer at the top of the hill. She then rang Dawn, and Dawn said he would call for help on the way home and suggested that Candace call for help as well. While help was on the way, Candace drove the road to the bottom of the property, hoping to locate Summer. Dawn arrived home in about 30 minutes, despite his commute typically taking 45 minutes. Help had not yet arrived, and Dawn reported he felt a strong sense that Summer had been abducted. An investigation involving the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation was launched immediately, as well as in-depth searches. The searches spanned over 3,000 acres and utilized ground searchers, drones, and scent and cadaver dogs. As the evening progressed, Candace contacted friends to tell them about Summer, prompting friends to gather at the family home for support. I'm going to ask that you remain open-minded to this timeline I have, which I'm calling the unofficial timeline, because so little of the facts of this case have been substantiated. So I had to build a timeline off the statements made by the three individuals by Summer's side on June 15th, 2021. I was able to reference a couple of verified details by Chris McDonough from the interview room on YouTube. Apparently, when the four went back through the Walgreens drive-thru to pick up the prescription, Summer was placed inside the truck using CCTV footage. That said, please give Chris's channel a visit if you like keeping up to date with true crime. His presentations examine cases through his expertise as a retired homicide detective, which can be both educational and informative. Prior to 8:30 a.m., Dawn drives to the Jonesboro job site. Around 8:30, Summer, Candace, and Grandma leave for the hospital. Around 9 a.m., Candace drops Grandma off at the hospital and goes to Hunter's house. Around 10:15 a.m., Candace and Summer arrive at Hunter's home, and Grandma calls to say she is ready to be picked up. Then Summer, Hunter, and Candace depart for the hospital to fetch Grandma. Via the drive-thru pharmacy, the group drops off Grandma's prescription. As they leave, Dawn calls Candace. They make a stop at a head shop. At 12:21 p.m., they arrive at Warriors Path State Park. The video of Summer playing in the water is uploaded to TikTok at 12:34 p.m. This is one of the facts verified by Chris McDonough. As far as I know, there's no confirmation that this video was filmed on that day. Some speculation has been made that the video may have been filmed ahead of time and then intentionally uploaded at the swimming hole to throw off the investigation or plant some sort of false narrative of what occurred that day. About 20 minutes later, so that would be approximately 12:40 p.m., the group departs for the hippie house, where only Candace and Grandma go inside. At 1:33 p.m., this is verified by Chris McDonough, the group returns to the pharmacy to receive the prescription. Around 1:45 p.m., they stop at Sonic. Around 2 p.m., they arrive at the grocery store. And this is where that large discrepancy in the passage of time occurs between Candace and Hunter. Around 2:30 p.m., the group departs for Hunter's house. Around 2:45-ish, they arrive at Hunter's house and promptly leave. Now, I don't know if it takes 15 minutes to get from Priceless to Hunter and Allie's house. I had to guess based on the time that Candace reported arriving to her home with the groceries, and I didn't feel it was necessary to research Hunter's address. I prefer to respect people's privacy whenever possible, and as far as we know, Hunter is not a person of interest or a suspect. Around 3:15 p.m., Summer, Candace, and Grandma return home, where they wake up Summer and they take the groceries inside. Around 4 p.m., the ladies plant cactuses or flowers, and then Summer goes inside the home. Around 6 p.m., Jody Sue, a neighbor of the Wells family, reports hearing Candace calling Summer's name up in the hills. Around 6:30 p.m., Candace and Dawn both call for help at their separate locations. Sometime after 7 p.m., searchers roam the surrounding area looking for clues until 12:07 a.m. on June 16th, and then an endangered child alert is issued. At 1 p.m., the alert is upgraded to an Amber Alert. In this section, we will discuss minor developments related to this case. A neighbor named Jody Sue would tell investigators that she heard a scream somewhere in the woods around the time that Summer disappeared. Later, around 6 p.m., Jody Sue claimed she heard Candace calling for Summer, which immediately made her concerned about the scream she had heard earlier. The scream has since been investigated, and law enforcement stated that they do not believe the scream connects to Summer's disappearance. A separate report was made of a mysterious red Toyota Tacoma near the property. On June 28, 2021, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation announced to the public that they were looking for information regarding the truck, which may have been from years 1998 to 2000, and may have contained a full ladder rack, likely with white buckets. The TBI at one point asked the public for help in identifying the driver of the red truck, who they say may have been a witness. Along with this statement, the Bureau revealed that they have not ruled out foul play. Multiple sources report Dawn and Candace submitting to several polygraph tests in the days following Summer's disappearance, but specific dates have not been made available. Both Dawn and Candace's phones were confiscated by the Bureau for analysis. As far as the polygraphs and the phone analysis are concerned, we don't have any confirmation from law enforcement regarding the potential evidence they may have found. I'm going to examine some concerning claims made by individuals close to the Wells family. Keep in mind these statements that have been made are not verifiable, as some people have since passed away and others have changed their stories over time. Hopefully these statements have been discussed with investigators, especially if they are true and valid. Many of these statements have been made on YouTube podcasts, which was a unique fact about this case, how so many players involved chose to discuss certain details with YouTube sleuths. One such person was named Jose, and he lived with the family for 6 months and made scathing claims of poor and cluttered home environment, lack of healthy nourishment for the children, and he even revealed Candace and Dawn struggled with substance use. He also claimed that Dawn showered with Summer, which made him very uncomfortable. And he made claims that Dawn and Candace fought often due to his yelling and tendency to lash out at the children. A social media post made by Candace on June 12, 2020 revealed that the Department of Children's Services had been investigating the family for unknown reasons. Hunter's mother, Allie, claimed that DCS investigated Dawn and Candace's home several times, but the couple had been given advance notice prior to their checks, which gave them ample opportunity to prepare for tests and stage their environment to be more favorable in the eyes of DCS agents. Hunter and Allie would participate in a filmed interview with Chris McDonough, the co-host of the YouTube channel The Interview Room, where they discussed people close to the family who had access to the property around the time that Summer disappeared. Also in the interview, Hunter claimed to stealthily swap his phone with Candace's phone while she stepped away from the truck. He stated that Candace stopped by his home days after June 14th, and he felt Candace was acting suspicious. He checked her Google Drive and located the trash folder. In there, he described seeing 13 deleted text messages exchanged with a contact that he identified as her dealer. He said that one of the texts simply said, "It's done." In July of 2021, the 3 older boys were removed from the home by the Department of Child Services. Eventually, Dawn and Candace would sign away their parental rights to the 3 remaining children after DCS removed them from the home permanently. The events surrounding Summer's disappearance have formulated the breeding ground for an array of theories which people have not been shy about when it comes to discussing this case. I attribute this to the extreme lack of evidence we have even to this day, and I've compiled a short list of prevailing theories as to avoid going down any salacious rabbit holes. Theory number 1, stranger abduction. Although this theory has been suggested by Dawn and Candace, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children reports that less than 1% of missing children result from stranger abduction. Theory 2, trafficking. From what I could gather, there is no evidence that suggests trafficking is the cause of Summer's disappearance. Theory 3, she wandered off the property. According to Jose, Summer previously left the house on several occasions, going unnoticed. On one occasion, he claimed Summer walked to a neighbor's house before being located, and on another, she had traversed to the bottom of the driveway. If these stories are true, could that indicate that Summer did have a tendency to wander off the property? That's a question that is definitely in my mind and maybe in other people's minds as well. Theory number 4, the swimming hole. One of the most discussed theories is an accident or incident taking place at the swimming hole. Given that Hunter and Allie agree that Summer may have been asleep in the truck when Hunter was dropped off, some people suspect an accident may have taken place which led to Summer drowning or dry drowning, suggesting that Hunter may have either knowingly or unknowingly misled investigators. I'd like to thank you for viewing this episode of State of Scrutiny. Summer Wells was only 5 years old when she went missing, but today she would be 9 years old. She never got to start kindergarten, which she so much looked forward to. I've provided the most recent update provided by the TBI, as well as Summer's most recent age-progressed photo. If you or someone you know has information regarding Summer's whereabouts, please utilize the tip line located on screen at 1-800-TBI-FIND.